What's happening, guys? Oxford King here, and in this Path of Exile 2 video, I'm going to teach you how to use the movement skill called Blink with weapon swapping. Let's get started. So the first thing that you're going to do is make sure that you have an uncut spirit gem of level 14. Once you have this, go ahead and engrave the skill gem like this. Now, in order to get this, tab over to the tab called Elemental. Go down the bottom row and look right here on the bottom left corner. It's called Blink. Go ahead and acquire this. Please take note that this has a reservation of 60 spirit, which is why we're going to use the weapon swap mechanic. So the 60 spirit is not being used on your main weapon. Once you have Blink equipped on your bar, take note that Blink itself does have a cooldown timer, just like in Path of Exile 1. We want to reduce that cooldown as much as possible. One of the support gems that I recommend using is called Ingenuity, where the supported skills have a 30% increased cooldown recovery rate. Another support gem that I like to use on this one is Clarity, where you get 30% increased mana regeneration rate while a supported skill is active. Now take note that this is an additional reservation of 10 spirit, totaling our spirit with Blink to 70, so keep that in mind. Now, another support gem that you could use is this one right over here. It's called Second Wind, just like in POE1. Now, there's an upside to this and a downside. The upside is you get to use the Blink back to back twice in a row, okay? The downside is there's going to be a larger cooldown recovery rate. Supported skills have 50% less cooldown recovery, so keep that in mind. The good news is you can use it back to back to get you from pack to pack, right? And then while you're fighting that pack, this cooldown will probably come back around and you at least have one charge, maybe two charges, but give it a shot. Personally, I didn't like it because I felt like I didn't have those charges up in time. So I chose to go without it, and I felt like the uptime was good enough for me. Now, how else can we reduce this cooldown time? And that's where I want to talk about the weapon swap mechanic. Okay, let's move on to the weapon swap part of this mechanic here. One of the things that I want to focus on is actually a shield called the Crest of Ardura Jingling Crest Shield. I got this for 1 Exalt on the trade website, and what I was looking for was more cooldown recovery rate. And if you look on screen here, I got a 49% roll along with 50% increased mana regeneration rate. This is really, really awesome. But here's the downside. For those that are lacking strength on your character, this shield requires 30 strength and 30 intelligence with a minimum level of 28. Please keep that in mind. My character only had 23 strength. I couldn't wield this shield. However, let's tab over to our weapon swap on our second set here. I then purchased this scepter here that had plus 12 strength on it and increased mana regeneration rate. So what does that mean for us? That means we have increased mana regeneration rate here on the weapon, we have regeneration rate on the shield, and we have clarity for more mana regeneration rate. It really comes in handy. So how do we do this? How do we make sure that all of this works? So once you have your weapon and your shield in place for that extra cooldown recovery, come back into your skill menu here and toggle over to Blink. When you come here, go ahead and go to the toggle aura menu here. Make sure that the tab 1 is selected here, and make sure your auras that you're using for your first weapon set are set to on, and make sure Blink is off. Tab over to weapon set 2 and only turn on Blink and turn off all the other auras that you have on. While you're in this menu, tab down to the section right here where your hotbar is. Remember earlier the definition said that when you have Blink enabled, your dodge roll becomes Blink. So how do we make that work? Here's how. You have to put this icon on your action bar called Toggle Weapon Set. Simply open up your menu here just like this, and look for the icon that looks just like this here with the 2 weapons, and it says Toggle Weapon Set. You're going to put this on your bar, all right? Now, what I did, because I play on gamepad on PC, dodge roll is already mapped to circle or B, depending on what controller you're using. So what I did, just as an example or kind of inspire you a little bit here, is this right here. I put it on my L2 bar, the second bar, on the same button as dodge. So for me, I hit L2 circle because I'm already dodging with circle. And once you weapon swap, your circle or B button becomes dodging. It'll be spacebar for those that are using keyboard mouse. Let's put this into practice. So right now, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see that I'm on weapon set 1. How do you know that? Well, because I have all my auras here, you can see the 3 auras are activated. Also, you see my spirit is 27 of 177. So when I dodge roll with circle, I'm rolling just like this. And when I hit L2 circle, I weapon swap. I gain a lot of that spirit back. Now I'm 107 of 77. And now I can blink just like this right here. And if you notice, the cooldown timer is not all that bad. So this is how you blink. And here's the good news. You can also, once you attack, you go right back to your weapon set 1. How did we do that? Hop back into your skills menu here. Make sure that all of your main attacks that you want to do with your main weapon is set to weapon set 1. So in my example here, we have Tempest Flurry. We're going to open up that menu here. We're then going to go down to skill options and make sure that Tempest Flurry or whatever your skill is set to weapon 1 only. Now, when you come to blink, you can't set it here. That's because how you set that is in your aura menu. Remember that, okay? So you go over to tab 2, and then your weapon set 2 will have blink on. That's how you set that in for your auras, okay? Now, anything else you have, charge staff, in my example, open this up, go to skill options, make sure that it's set to weapon set 1, okay? Come over to Hand of Chayula. Again, set weapon set 1. You get the point. Go all the way down and make sure that everything else is on weapon set 1 but blink. That way, whenever you're back here and you're blinking around, as soon as you attack, right, you go boom, right back to weapon set 1 automatically. Here's an example of blink without second wind. Looks just like this. Watch the cooldown at the bottom. So that's without second wind. Now, let's go ahead and come into the menu here and equip second wind so I can show you the difference between the two. So now we're going to have second wind, and let that cooldown. Now you can watch the screen. You see how slow that cooldown is? But with this on, now I can do this. Now you can do twice, but now I'm waiting a little bit longer for that next cooldown. But here's the thing. If you're attacking or if you're going in between pack to pack, that cooldown is charging up in the background. So by the time you're ready to go, those two will be ready. So it's really your choice in how your gameplay is and your style. If you're mapping, you're probably not even going to notice. But if I were you, test out both and see what you like.